What, the joy thief? Something thefted your joy?
Something has been thieving my joy, and it was the second last response. It was, I've been starting The Last of Us Season 2.
But I can't walk on the path of the right because I'm wrong.
So just to be clear, someone in the community had started the exact same thing you had, but instead of saving that and using it for the segue, you put that second last and then like jammed this joy thief one in there. Because I respect it. I just want to be clear that that's what the choice you made.
I wanted to know what your opinion was on the joy thief.
Great. I'm glad.
And turns out it was a dumb joke about the Holocaust.
Well, I want to know.
Which is pretty in line for you.
What the fuck did that come from? Well, what I want to know about. That's a perfect joke. They had a perfect joke already and they added Nazis. Now it's AA+, everybody. Speaking of people who have committed horrible crimes, how are you enjoying The Last of Us Part 2?
I'm quite liking it. It's doing what the first season did, but maybe a little bit more in some ways. For those of you who don't know, The Last of Us is what if The Walking Dead, but better, and also was about parenting.
Nice. Really, really
and the
well
human
done.
condition.
Walking Dead's about the human condition. Everything's about the human condition.
Not Star Wars.
Not Star Wars. Star Wars is about very little at sometimes.
It's about how irresponsible trade wars can ruin the foundation of global or even intergalactic democracy.
Usher in an authoritarianism.
Methinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I tried to put in a little... I said methinks, like I was Jar Jar Binks.
That's not a perfect joke.
Bazinga.
No. When you're stuck in a hole, quit digging, my friend.
So, The Last of Us... it was a video game.
I reckon this is at least our 6th time talking about The Last of Us.
Shit, you know what? I completely forgot that we've talked about this before. We've talked about, I guess, the first season, also when the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 2 came out, and maybe even when the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 1 came out. Who knows? They keep re-releasing the same story so many bloody times.
Because it's a good one.
But it's a good one. This is the first time we've seen The Last of Us Part 2 put to screen. So
well, the second time, but yeah.
No, the first time for Part 2. Oh, put to screen. I guess okay, yeah, no, technically.
I'll stop being unhelpful now.
The silver screen. What do we call? Because is the theater the silver screen?
The bronze screen.
The theater's the bronze screen.
No, the theater's the silver screen.
What's
I'm
the
proposing that
bronze
a TV could be a bronze screen.
What's a phone?
Nickel, lithium, iron, electron node. I don't know.
Okay.
You tell me what's in a phone. Screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all my questions answered.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yep. We have Pedro Pascal back as Joel Miller, man who lost his daughter once, so he forces another girl to become his daughter.
Yep.
Well, she kind of forces it. He gets put in a situation where it's like, all right.
He says no a few times.
Yeah.
Just so he doesn't look like he's too keen, you know?
Exactly. But by the end, he's taken her to the zoo. He's murdering doctors for her. Doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Normal dad stuff.
Normal dad stuff. I love those childhood memories of going out, driving out to Melbourne, hitting the Melbourne Zoo, seeing those elephants on the way back. I mean, the Royal Melbourne Hospital's just there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Shout out doctors and nurses. Y'all are great. We love you. And then we have, what's their name?
Bella Ramsey?
Bella Ramsey, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Bella Ramsey is back as Ellie. We got
Does she look older? Does it look like 5 years have passed?
No. Well, you know what? Maybe. Not really.
Okay.
Because the season 2 is set 5 years after season 1. I think they definitely do some stuff to make her look older. Change of hairstyle, change of clothes as well. And you know what? People sometimes don't look very different from when they're,
14 to 19? They look famously very different at those ages.
Yeah, but there'll be some outliers.
Anyway, I'm worried about bringing this up because I don't want this entire episode to be us talking about women's bodies on screen because I fear some more of that maybe down
Abby.
the line. Yeah, okay.
Abby's a new character in this, played by...
I want to say Caitlin Dever?
Caitlin Denver. Yeah. She was in that really good high school romp comedy film.
Booksmart.
and was very good in that. She's very good in everything. She's very good in this. It is a very difficult character from knowing the game, so like just. But she's doing really well. They made it in the video game. I'm getting it out of the way. In the video game, she's very muscly, and I thought it was very cool. Why did I think it was very cool? I don't know. I was just like, this is sick. Maybe it's because you don't see that physique portrayed that much in video games or in a lot of like media for women. Maybe I was like, damn, her having big ass guns for arms, that's pretty hot. Maybe it was also that. Who's to say? I haven't thought about it enough. I just know that I miss her being muscly.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Dever's also doing great. They've got her in the same. Everyone's kind of wearing the same outfit because that's the first thing I noticed when I saw her. She's wearing that long sleeve, gray, like tight kind of fit, and I'm like, that's a very Abby thing to wear, because I don't know, something like that where it's a pretty basic bit of clothing.
It's interchangeable.
You might not translate, yeah. But the same very authentic in this show, including the bits where they're kind of just taking the exact shots and scenes from the video game cutscenes and gameplay and just like directly translating it.
How do you feel about that?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, no. I mean, you could be talking about any number of things.
There's a scene in episode 2 where Abby is being inundated with a bunch of zombies and she goes to like run between a house and a chain link fence.
And it goes...
The zombies crash into it and it falls over and then she ends up having to crawl very like, it's very, very tense. Yes. I was like, once that scene finished, I was like, Jesus, I was holding my breath with that entire time. Those shots are like, I bet you could put them side by side with the video game and they look the exact same.
Well, this is the interesting thing about this like Craig Mazin model of adaptation, whether it's like a big explosion that happened in 1980 or a video game that came out in 2013. He's like, he will do the like shot for shot stuff where he's like, this works in this new medium, so I'm not going to change anything at all. And we're going to do the like loyalty to the original. But where the storytelling needs to change, usually needs to be condensed for this medium, we're just going to change stuff.
Yeah.
Or where gameplay has been prioritized, he just takes that out and lets the scenes change, sometimes quite radically. I'm talking about Bill and Frank, of course, really is what I'm talking about. So it sounds like from the intro you gave to this section that there's a similar philosophy applied here. There's more changes.
You've seen this, yeah?
No.
You've watched...
No.
Oh! What? I just assumed that you'd been watching it.
I just wanted to wait till you asked. In my head, I was like, oh, maybe Jett and I can watch that together, but never brought it up or did anything about it. And then last night, the story about Max is true. I very nearly got it to watch the first episode and then was like, I'll just watch this downstairs later. And that was last night. So, yeah.
Okay. This isn't a deliberate you choosing to wait until it's all out to watch it.
No, not deliberately, but I think I will end up waiting another week or two and then watching so that I'm in line for finale or the last few episodes.
Right, okay. I don't know, I'm kind of liking the weekly schedule of it. Yeah. It's nice to be a part of something.
It's nice not to feel like you can't touch the internet because a thing came out 6 hours ago. Like when a whole season comes out and that's it. Like you can't engage at all until you've watched it all. Yeah.
Okay. I have. This has shocked me a little because I've just been going off the fact that you'd seen it. What do you want to know about it?
Well, I think I'm a good proxy for the audience in some ways. I guess I'm thinking about the people who haven't engaged with the video game, which is cool and fine, and watched season 1. And those of us who know what happens in part 2 have been kind of like almost having like a sad laugh at these people's expense for a couple of years just because there are some, I guess I would say, shocking decisions in part 2 that are not there for shock value. They're there for really strong narrative reasons that I really believe in, but they are quite dramatic.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm partly curious about like what the experience of those people will be, but neither of us can really answer that.
Well, we can to some degree.
Yeah, a little bit. And then
someone who wrote in, a listener, Yannon, said, I've had 2 nightmares since watching this show. I feel like we know what the experience so far.
Yeah.
Sounds bad.
Yeah. So you said that the Abby stuff happens in episode 2.
Mostly,
Does
yeah.
she appear in episode 1 at all? Or is that all
Yeah.
Jackson stuff? Okay.
It's a shot from the trailer where she's like, it's the first scene.
Yeah.
And she's near a gravesite. She's like, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's she hunting down? Who's she going to kill? You'll have to watch to find out. She's like, I'm gonna kill him. And then she appears more in episode 2.
Okay, yeah. And then has Joel had his chat with a therapist yet? That was a new scene from the trailers that pricked my interest.
Yep, we had in the first episode. This is its first episode. It's also been talked about by the creator, so I'm okay with spoiling it. It's just a bit of extra connecting tissue. She's like she's the wife of Eugene,
Okay.
who is a character in The Last of Us Part 2 who is just not around anymore. He was, in Jackson, had a couple of extracurricular activities going on, if you know what I mean. If you've if you played the game and remember that, yeah. So like that's just a bit of extra connecting tissue, and there's some extra information about that whole dilemma that comes out a bit more. I think it's more for doubling down on some themes, like using this extra character to create a dynamic between more characters that is a reflection of the main themes of the story. Than it is to be like, how would Joel go in therapy?
Yeah. Does Joel still talk to Tommy? Do you see that?
Yeah, they hang out.
Yeah.
They hang out all the time. Yeah. They're brothers.
Yeah. And have you gone into, again, trying to not spoil anything, there's no flashbacks yet. Everything's proceeding chronologically, more or less?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because there are some flashbacks in the video game, but they're all mostly later on. Oh, actually, there's a flashback/dream sequence.
Flashback/dream sequence?
Yep.
Who's dreaming?
Ellie runs really fast until the universe breaks a bit, and then he sees Ellie. She sees Batman through a portal. And that was actually from the previous adaptation to screen, which was Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and that's
a flashback.
And then Joel in that one just wakes up and it's like, oh, is that a dream? But no, it turns out it was time travel.
Oh, I see.
Does that make sense?
No, not at all. You posted something being like, I think I'm about to fall in love with Dina again. You're a fan of casting?
I'm a big fan of just Dina as a character. Dina is a new character once again in The Last of Us Part 2, and she's a bit of a maybe like love interest for some characters. She's great. She's just I just like her personality, and the woman playing her is excellent as well, and is capturing that very well. And you immediately are like, yeah, I'm falling in love with this character. This is, yeah. So
that's how they getcha.
Yeah.
Getcha. So
is there anything in particular that you're excited for this show and season?
Yes. Can we talk spoilers?
Yeah, let's talk spoilers. Yeah, we can do spoilers,
Yeah. So I guess first of all I have to say dog murder. Excited for dog murder.
Oh, we've already got some dog.
Oh, really?
Dog murder.
Oh, they've brought it up. They've pulled it forward.
Well, they're just once again they're expanded on these themes. They're like these bigger questions of what is okay, what is not okay. Questions that could be applied to basically everything.
Yeah.
But what they've taken the concept of dogs in zombie combat, introduced it a bit into Jackson because Jackson has some dogs. They've made some decent changes in episode 2.
Yeah? Like what?
In terms of just Tommy isn't with Joel when they find Abby.
Oh, right. So is
Tommy's
anyone?
actually back still in town. Yeah, Dina's with Joel.
Oh, shit. Is Ellie out and about as well in the storm?
Yeah, Ellie is with, what's his name?
Jesse?
You'll know, Jesse, with Jesse.
Yeah, right, okay.
And so Tommy's with Maria back in town. Because there's kind of what it feels like when I was watching it. I was like, feels Game of Thrones-esque.
Yeah.
Throne of Swords-esque.
Very good, yes. How
J.
so?
Jonah Jameson. There's a big horde of zombies that attack Jackson.
Okay, yeah. I guess it's inferred in the game that must have happened at some points in the past.
But it happens at the same...
okay.
When they're away and Tommy's in town with Maria. Like, it happens, it
I wonder why.
coincides with...
Like, feel free to make changes, I don't care. But what motivates
I don't really
those
care,
changes,
actually.
I guess.
Feel free to.
I don't.
I'm not really pissed off.
It's not like my favorite story ever in the world. Okay.
It's it really adds a lot of tension to that whole experience. And it's a really cool, I don't know, a good sequence. And it is good seeing that happen, I guess, to Jackson. You know.
But do you
just said
see
it's something
Happy
you
Jackson?
kind of assume.
I don't know. I feel like that first.
Yeah, you see Happy
Okay,
Jackson.
that's really important to me in this story. Just like kids having a snowball fight and everyone eating together and whatever. Like the
Yeah.
fact that exists is just like always an important like juxtaposition and home base. The further away from that Ellie gets. I don't know. And I know
Yeah.
it's not perfect. That's part of the point, but it is home or something.
Yeah, for sure. I think that we get a bit of that. I mean, we get that whole dance sequence in the hall, which looks beautiful.
actually-
I'm so
yeah.
glad they found a second use for the that E3 event space that they dressed up like for the first proper trailer of The Last of Us Part 2.
Because that scene was so interesting. Like Neil Druckmann talks about how trailers are part of the narrative in his mind. Like he builds the game and
Well,
the
trailers are part of the narrative because they were like, we're going to show this game off at an event without having any of the game done. So, okay, over like 3 weeks, let's set these plot points.
Yeah. But I guess I say that because the assumption going into the game was that everyone or almost everyone had seen that scene. Because it doesn't actually happen in the game until at least 3/4 of the way through. Where it's,
We get half of it.
yeah,
I
that's
think.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, it doesn't
And then
happen until a
flashback.
while
So I don't
through.
know. I just think these things are interesting.
Yeah.
Because like you can't make that same assumption in a TV show. So if you want to get that vibe across, you kind of have to place the scene earlier in the narrative. Yeah.
You have to play things kind of more chronologically, ironically.
Yeah.
Because what can be really helpful about those scenes in video games, especially if you're doing a combat adventure video game, is those time jumps can provide a bit of levity from that.
Yes.
So you can ebb and flow between gameplay and like more plot heavy stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
No, we see a bunch of video gamey things.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a
Classic.
nice nod.
Nice.
It feels a little bit of Fallout, you know, but like not too much.
Yeah. Does anyone wrap up their arm like this and then they're magically fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone does it.
Nice.
They do it for zombie bites too now. Doesn't hurt you as long as you wrap it up. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Spores are back. Someone said spores are back, but that maybe hasn't happened yet. Because you
Spores
famously,
are back. Yeah.
This was your greatest complaint.
All right. So Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin have come out and they said, spores are back. We're bringing spores back. We love spores. If you love spores that much, why not have them the first one? They're like, no, it works because we're saying that the virus is evolving. It's true. We have some stalkers now. They're scary. I think that's what gave Yana the nightmares. But the spores are back, and Neil said there are 2 spore heavy scenes, like scenes that rely on spores in the video game.
Yes.
And one of them we figured this actually doesn't need the spores.
Okay.
We can do this and it'll be like more impactful in some way without the spores.
That will be maybe the Nora one.
Well, I'm really hoping it's not. And there's another one where they're like, this only makes sense if there are spores.
I
Like,
think
it will
that's-
not make sense.
I think that's Ellie and Dina in the train.
Explain Ellie and Dina in the train again.
Big flashing red light, lots of zombies. You have to fight. You have to swim to get out. But Ellie's mask breaks, and Dina flips, and that's why Ellie reveals to her that she's immune. Actually, now I think about it, I think I've got them back to front. I think Ellie will choose to say that because she feels connected to Dina, and the Nora one you really need the spores for.
The Nora one you need the spores for, and like, okay, instead of like getting gassed with the spores with that horde of zombies, she just gets bitten on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that can be a swap for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then she's been bitten by zombies 3 times because they already added a bite in season 1 that I didn't love.
Oh, they added another bite in season 2 already.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So she's got 4 zombie bites, but 1 tattoo. I just think they're very confused about this.
Okay, here's the
immunity
thing
law.
with the tattoo one. They didn't treat it at all.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It was just left to like fester and do whatever. But she gets one like kind of on her stomach, I think, in this. And what she does is she uses a knife to cut out like around it a little bit.
Yeah.
So that I think at least she doesn't cut out around it. She goes between the teeth marks of the bite and cuts it. And then stitches it up so that it doesn't look like you've been bitten.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That's gnarly. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Oh, what else are you excited for? I'll bounce it back to you then.
What else am I excited for? Seattle's. I've been thinking about the video game a lot recently and how I love it, but I don't think I've ever played it more than once all the way through.
Rookie era.
But my issue is I've started it probably like 3 or 4 times. I think I always get stuck in the Seattle bit where it goes open world.
Yeah.
And there's just a bit to do and it really like slows down.
It does.
And then even getting like after that, the next few levels are still pretty slow.
It is slow. Until it's not.
Until it's not. But I haven't. Yeah, I don't think I've really gone past there that much. It's really interesting because when they were originally making the game, that it was going to be way more open world,
And
a lot
then
more like the Seattle.
They just kept playing it and testing it, and it just kept not working, and so they made it smaller.
Yeah. So that's a bit that I'm interested to see how it goes. It's hard to say what I'm getting excited for. In terms of story, because I don't know what's in this season.
I was going to say that. I'm like, so much of what I enjoy is probably not going to happen yet.
And I'll also say that like some of the most impactful moments, like the dance scene, like the golfing scene, they've happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what I'm looking for next. You know?
Yeah. Because
I guess
no, well, it's go ahead.
I just want to say that I'm interested to see how they expand the world more.
Yep.
In terms of this therapist character is an interesting, maybe like one-off, and interesting enough how it connects to the world. But I guess if they do more of that, I'm kind of keen to see the world expanded. Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the Dina page in the Last of Us 2 art book.
Oh, she's so cool.
Fucking sick. Anyway, I'm just getting distracted. I was trying to remind myself what happened in Seattle, to be honest, but yeah, this structure question is, I don't know. I feel like we'll keep talking about it until season 2 and maybe even season 3 are out. And then, I don't know. We're probably never going to escape it. But part of me is sick of having the structure discussion. I'm like, I just want to, like when I'm playing the video game, it is working. And I'm so completely immersed. And then when I stop playing the video game, it's a mini Deadpool effect, if you will. And then like I'm thinking about what works and what doesn't. And what if they hadn't flipped it around the midpoint. And how do you do a TV show and whatever. I guess I'm just saying I'm excited to watch it and just be in there again. I'm excited to see how Bella Ramsey does the really, really difficult acting task that is coming up.
Yeah.
I
just had a thought.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
This will be the last sort of thought on this before we move on. But you know how in the video game, about, as you said, halfway, there's a switch because you switch to playing as Abby instead of playing as Ellie, and then you mostly go on her path until the end, where then you switch back to Ellie for kind of like the rest. Yeah. For it's almost, it's not exactly an epilogue, but it's that last section. What if they don't do the switch in the bit before that last section where, you know, how they meet in the theater and they have that fight?
Yeah.
And
hate that
then
fight.
Ellie goes home, Abby goes, she goes on a little vacation down south, sunny California.
Yeah. What are you saying? What if they don't do what?
What if they have the switch at the very end? So you go through all of Ellie's story for the most part, right to the very end, right to the beach scene.
Yeah.
And switch it there. I'm thinking because why have we seen some of the stuff like we've seen the big Seraphite fire scene in the trailer, I think.
But trailers don't mean anything.
But that happens after the switch, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's Abby's day 3.
Oh shit, that's Abby's day 3. And we don't swap until it's Ellie's day. I'm just trying to find a way in which
I think it's the opposite of what you're saying. I think because in the game, playing as the character, even if you're feeling so negative about them, makes you empathize with them. And I don't think a TV protagonist switch is as powerful as that. And so I think rather than a later switch, I think they are going to either do it earlier or just not switch it so dramatically and just have the two stories weaving parallel. Because otherwise, I think you never get people to have the sympathy for Abby. I think people just hate her.
No, I think TV shows have done that before.
Yeah?
Well, you know, you can switch protagonists in a TV show.
Well, even like Marriage Story does it really well, but I don't think it's coming later. I don't think we see less Abby.
You don't think it's going to be season 3 as Abby all the way to the beach scene?
That's a possibility, but I'm not convinced.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Why are we having this structured conversation? Didn't we say we weren't going to have this structured conversation?
Because it's... I don't know. It's such a fascinating, revealing piece of media. It tells you about people's biases and people's culture and which like mediums people enjoy, and I feel like we normally watch stories and we don't get to think about them, but because The Last of Us Part 2 is subversive, we spend more time than we would thinking about it. It's like a peek behind the curtain for normal people who don't write narratives. I don't know. It's fascinating. Anyway.
It's fascinating.
That
was our last thought on The Last of Us.
That's our last
Season
thought
2.
ever. It's not.
Until we re-release it. For the new console, your new podcast console.
Yeah.
You need a console now to use it.
It's a box.
And then we're just gonna remake it again. We're just gonna record the entire thing again. Yeah. The last opinion on The Last of Us.
The last of opinions. Nope.